The quiet neighborhood. The early summer air in Sunnyridge Estates carried the faint scent of garden roses and chlorine, a picture-perfect neighborhood where everyone pretended to be friendly while secretly keeping score.
What are we gonna
Mark
do?
Ellison, a
We need to figure
38-year-old
this out
mechanical
now.
engineer, had just moved back into his late father's house after years in the city. His father had left him this home, a quiet, beautiful two-story brick house with a pool that shimmered like glass under the sunlight. It wasn't just a home. It was the last memory of family peace Mark had left. Mark's return was supposed to be healing. But trouble had a name: Karen Whitmore. Karen was the HOA president, known for her power suits, oversized sunglasses, and her uncanny ability to make everyone feel like they owed her something. She patrolled the neighborhood daily, clipboard in hand, dictating what color people could paint their doors, how long their grass could grow, and when garbage bins should be rolled in. To the rest of the community, Karen was both feared and fake charming, a perfect smile masking her hunger for control. One night, as Mark sat by his living room window, sipping coffee, he noticed ripples in his pool. It was 11:47 p.m. He frowned. He hadn't used it all week. He went outside, flashlight in hand, and froze. There, under the pale moonlight, was Karen, lounging on a float, a wine glass in hand, humming softly to herself. Mark stood speechless. When he cleared his throat, she shrieked but quickly composed herself. "Oh, Mark, you're awake. I was just checking the pool temperature. HOA business, you know." He didn't know whether to laugh or yell. Instead, he nodded politely, watching her saunter away in her robe, leaving wet footprints on his deck. He thought it was a bizarre one-time thing. But 2 nights later, she returned. And then again. Every time, she'd sneak through his side gate, swim, and leave before dawn. It became almost surreal, as if his own home wasn't his anymore. The unwanted guest. Weeks passed, and Karen's midnight swims became routine. Mark began finding wet towels, half-empty bottles of Chardonnay, and occasionally, one of her gold bracelets near the pool steps. He decided to confront her, politely. One afternoon, while she was inspecting another neighbor's mailbox, Mark approached her. "Karen, about the pool. I'd appreciate it if you didn't come over uninvited." Her lips curved into a smirk. "Uninvited? Oh, Mark, don't be dramatic. This neighborhood values sharing. Besides, you're hardly ever home. It's not like I'm causing harm." Mark's patience thinned. "It's private property." She stepped closer, lowering her sunglasses. "Private property doesn't exist when you're part of my HOA. Maybe if you learned how things work around here, you'd fit in better." The tone in her voice sent chills down his spine. The next morning, Mark received his first HOA notice, violation number 112. Improper pool gate maintenance. Then came violation number 119, overgrown shrubbery. Within days, 5 fines totaling over $700 were slapped against him. He realized she was retaliating. One night, while reviewing old files left by his late father, Mark stumbled upon a sealed envelope titled "For the Next Owner." Inside was a handwritten note. "Mark, if you ever move back here, beware of Karen Whitmore. She runs this HOA like a kingdom. But remember, strength isn't in fighting, it's in standing smart." Mark folded the letter carefully. His father's words echoed in his mind. He wasn't going to fight Karen with anger, he was going to outsmart her. The trap. Mark's patience transformed into strategy. He installed subtle motion cameras around the pool and security lights synced with his phone. Every night, he watched as Karen sneaked in like clockwork, sometimes alone, sometimes on calls, sometimes humming to herself. He gathered video after video, undeniable evidence. But evidence wasn't enough. He wanted something poetic, something that would expose her without breaking a single law. That's when inspiration struck while shopping at a maintenance supply store, a large drum labeled "Safe, Non-Toxic Pool Dye, Sky Blue Show Formula." Mark's eyes glimmered. If Karen wanted to make his pool her playground, then she'd better be ready for the spotlight. Late that night, he quietly poured all 50 gallons into the pool, stirring the water until it glowed like liquid sapphire. Under moonlight, it looked magical, beautiful but impossible to miss. And then he waited. The splash heard around Sunny Ridge. It was 12:43 a.m. when the side gate creaked. Karen slipped in, wearing her white designer swimsuit, humming softly as always. She didn't notice the water's odd color in the dark. She dove in with her usual grace, and immediately, the water shimmered electric blue. Within minutes, her skin, her hair, her swimsuit, everything, took on a striking turquoise hue. The next morning, the neighborhood erupted in laughter. Karen stormed through her front yard, screaming at her gardener, her hair glinting blue under the sun. Neighbors peeked from curtains, whispering. Phones came out. Someone even live-streamed it. She barged into Mark's yard. You humiliated me. You poisoned my skin. Mark calmly stepped outside, holding his phone. Non-toxic, HOA-approved dye, Karen. Oh, and this? He pressed play, showing her trespassing every night, wine in hand. Her face drained of color, except for the blue tint that made her look almost surreal. That afternoon, an emergency HOA meeting was called. For once, the entire neighborhood gathered. Not out of fear, but curiosity. Mark presented the evidence to the board, with half the neighborhood watching. Karen tried to talk her way out, claiming it was pool safety inspection. But every lie deepened her embarrassment. When the vote came, it was unanimous. Karen was suspended indefinitely as HOA president. The power she'd clung to for years vanished in a single afternoon. The peace returns. The weeks after Karen's downfall felt like a breath of fresh air for everyone. Without her constant patrols and harsh notices, Sunny Ridge became what it was always meant to be, a community. Children laughed in driveways. Neighbors shared cookouts. Mark even repaired his father's old wooden bench by the garden, turning the backyard into a warm, welcoming space again. Ironically, people started thanking him. The man once targeted by the HOA became the quiet hero of Sunny Ridge. But Mark wasn't gloating. Deep down, he knew revenge wasn't the point. It was about restoring peace. One crisp evening, as golden light painted the horizon, Mark stepped outside to check the mail and froze. On his gate rested a small bouquet of white lilies with a handwritten note.
I'm sorry.
I went too far. Thank you for teaching me humility, Kay.
Karen.
She didn't ring the bell, didn't ask for forgiveness directly. But the gesture spoke volumes. Mark smiled softly, tucking the note into his pocket. He glanced toward the pool, its surface calm and crystal clear again, and whispered, maybe peace was all Dad wanted for this place. From that day, Mark started a new tradition. Once a month, he hosted a neighborhood barbecue, where everyone was welcome by invitation. And the most surprising part? Karen came once, dressed simply, no clipboard, no attitude. When she saw Mark, she laughed quietly, touching her hair. At least it's not blue anymore. They both chuckled. Because in the end, respect wasn't forced by rules. It was earned through lessons, patience, and a little splash of poetic justice.